about the noise, where legends rise. From the clouds to the crowd, this is Crowd, where Africa meets opportunity, where music meets magic.
All right, welcome to another edition of our L&D series, and I am your host for this particular series. My name is Elias Ayodele, and here at Crowd Africa, we have these sessions where we bring professionals, and we talk extensively about the African music industry, ecosystem, and everything in general. Today, we're pleased to have a special guest. Our guest today is a Chief Executive Officer of All Global Tech Network Limited, and then he spearheads innovation, drives digital transformation, and fosters strategic growth through state-of-the-art solutions and meaningful community engagement. So basically, he's a tech lead, he's a software engineer, and AWS certified solutions architect and tech educator. And he's taking us on code meets composition, how software developers are powering the future of African music. We are excited to have Mr. Akinbola Abudu. We're excited to have you, sir.
Thank you very much. It's nice to be here.
First things first, let's start from the topic. Our topic here is code meets composition. So I think first, give us opening speech about bringing code and composition together, how software developers are powering the future of the African music. You can share a few thoughts on the topic, sir.
Okay. Well, software development in itself by itself might not be able to do anything, or might won't have done anything if not for the internet, right? I think the internet helped to globalize and unify music in the first place. Then software was the vehicle, or applications were the vehicle that helped. For example, before now, I remember those days, 2026, 2006, 2004, 2006. There were softwares that we're using to do music, right? Just like Fruity Loops, and that's work. Yes, that's software. So that was the software that was good. But how many people knew about it? So thank God for the internet, right? Now, and because of that, knowledge is flowing. People are learning. They can learn faster, right? Because sometimes these tools or these apps are quite sophisticated. So having it is one, knowing how to use it is another thing. So I believe that it was because of the internet that many of these are now being able to use, we are being able to use it, and of course, people are now being able to innovate, right? People are now able to innovate because of the globalization that's happening in the internet, and of course, African music happens to be one of those industries that jumped on technology and of course the internet.
All right, thanks so much for that. All right, so you mentioned a few things that were interesting, and I think you almost, answered the first question that I wanted to ask: how software development has reshaped the way African music is created. You talked about music generally, but now I want us to talk about how exactly has software development shaped the African music, in the way it is created, distributed, and monetized today. So the reason I'm asking this question is because in the foreign landscape, like in the US, we know that they have technical things in place. We have distribution, AI that is even helping with scheduling and all of these things. So how is it affecting the African music totally now?
Okay, thank you for that. So, well, I believe that whatever thing is happening to the African music space as regards technology and software development is just still in the baby phase, right? The initial phase. I'm sure what we are seeing now, compared to what it will end up becoming, still on a very, very minute, negligible stage. So technology itself has taken a bit of shape, a big leap, and everybody is just readjusting. Let's take YouTube, for example. The recent introduction of videos, right, home videos on YouTube. You discover now that people prefer to go to YouTube to watch a video, and even producers, right, would produce their product for YouTube specifically because of the reach, right? So you discover that, and YouTube is a product of the software engineering, right? Leverage on internet. So what we are seeing here is that you see software development of software applications which are which will produce a product, right, being used by both the end users and the producers, right, to meet. So it helps us to link one another, right, And of course, if I produce something, I'm looking for buyers, right? I'm looking for people that will consume my product. So if I can get a platform that will help me do that. So that's what we are seeing in the African music space. And I think one of the big things that we are seeing is the ability for African music to travel beyond the African continent, right? And I think that has been a major setback. So we have platforms where I can, from my room, I can add music and publish it and stream it, and I get some returns, right? So I think software development has produced products that has helped music producers and music consumers to consume more, right? Thank God for our phones now, right? Before, I remember those days, if you have to listen to music, you have to get it on a cassette, something very small. You have to get a cassette player, and probably you have limitations to how many music you can listen to or you can store on a cassette player and all that. But because of our phones, and we have softwares on our phones, we have capacities on our phones that can take thousands of tracks, right? So you can listen on the go. So software has really helped us to increase capacity, right, of what we can do with music in terms of production, in terms of consuming music, so we can consume more and we can produce more.
Thanks so much, sir. That was really exciting. That was really exciting. So you mentioned things about bringing music products closer to the consumers. In fact, if we're going to look at the metrics now, we're going to be checking how the evolution started. Because me personally, I took a bit of research on how the music industry became digitalized. We realized that in fact, like this, it feels like it's technology now. That like music is basically technology right
Yeah,
now. And we're talking about streaming platforms. That is where most people want to put their songs, their products now.
yeah,
Many people also make use of these applications to simplify their processes. For instance, we have people uploading their lyrics with Music Match, which is an AI
yeah,
software that automates your lyrics while you're singing,
tracks.
while exactly. So things like that. I think it appears that Africa is still like we're trying to catch up, right? I don't know if that is the word to use because most of these things in other countries they're already there, they're already enjoying it, they already know how it feels. So let me ask that in the African, view now, what unique challenges do our software developers? Because now most times you see if we want to have professionals do these things, you see people going to hire people from outside Africa, or you see professionals from outside Africa developing softwares for Africans here. So I mean, now it has been improving. It has been improving. But what unique challenges do you think African software developers face when building for this music creative sector? And how can we turn them into innovation opportunities?
So there are two different aspects to that question, right? The first aspect is the software developers, right? The second aspect is the creatives, right? The producers, the artists, and what have you. So we must understand that even software development in Africa itself is still we are scarce. There's scarcity of software developers. We don't have enough. And when I mean we don't have enough, I'm talking about senior developers that can really do things, right? Because there's something to just take a course on YouTube and call yourself a software developer. There's something else about having some experience, right? So we have a sector that is just coming up. We have few engineers working on it, and we have creatives now that are also getting used to technology. They don't have much they don't have the knowledge, so to say, in ways to interact with the technology. So the people that are supposed to help out with technology, they are scarce, right? And the people that need the technology don't know how to interact with it. So that's a gap, right? So I believe that once we have more people in the software development phase that are able, thank God for AI, what AI is doing now, and I'm sure we'll get there. I'm sure your question, because you mentioned AI, I'm sure when I'm answering any question on AI, I don't want to go into AI now because AI is another topic entirely. But basically, how can we turn innovation into opportunity? Um, Let me still mention that AI now, let's just mention it now, that AI is probably a leverage for everybody, right? Both for the software dev and also for the creative, because you have an idea, just look for an LLM, like ChatGPT, Claude, or any other. In fact, there are some LLMs now that are fine-tuned for music, right? I know Google has some models that are direct for music, right? To create lyrics, to create audio, in fact, to create music videos, right? I will talk more on that later.
Yes.
And if we are not careful, this is a point where any junior software developer might be phased out
Hmm.
because once you are not a senior dev, it's most likely that if I'm a creative and I'm a producer, before I would need the hands or the expertise of a software engineer, I probably would have gone beyond the initial phase. Probably would have thrown my idea to an AI, and AI would have given me something that is working, like an MVP, right? That is working already. So if I'm bringing in an engineer, I'm bringing someone that has some experience to bring to the table. So at the end of the day, you discover that AI is the leverage, innovation, and of course, for the software engineer also, I think it's a leverage to work faster. Thank you.
That was interesting. Okay, you mentioned something about the phasing out of junior software developers, which shows that you have been in the game for a while now. So I don't know if you want to walk us through maybe a specific project that you worked on that demonstrates, the impact of tech on African music culture or the industry structure.
Yes, of course. I've tried my hands on various projects, personal projects, and of course, paid projects, big projects. One of which I'm working on presently, which is the crowd. And basically, what the crowd platform is doing is allows a bridge, right? It's actually solving one of the problems that we are talking about now, which is connecting creatives. And I'm not just saying anybody that calls him or herself creative. Yeah, I'm talking about someone that has been able to prove him or herself in this industry, right? We are trying to connect them to global market, right? So what the app is
Mm.
doing is trying to give any international body a bit of entrance into the African market, right? So we are going to help you with, so it's like an end-to-end app. So we are not just onboarding professionals. We are trying to make sure that if you are coming in as a partner or as a record label from maybe Canada or the US, you won't have any issue trying to interface with the African market, and we'll be able to handle it end to end, down to getting the creatives and the making payments and what have you. So it's an end to end product that we are developing, and I believe that is one of the things that the African music, like I mentioned earlier, the globalization of African music, which is one of those things that we are leveraging on.
Oh, that's interesting. Thank you for your contribution to the ecosystem. Um, so where do you see the most exciting intersection between AI and African music happening right now?
AI now is getting crazy, right? Down to composing your songs, writing songs, songwriting, and the music production, the beat, cooking the beat, adding instrumentations, and in fact, end to end, right? So even down to distribution and all that. So what am I seeing? One of the crazy things I'll be seeing is one of the things you mentioned, which is we'll have a superstar that is an AI, right?
Hmm.
So we have, imagine if Wizkid was an AI. So we have a personality that does beautiful music, and the music is going wild, right? But it's just an AI. Down to music video, right? Music video is one of the crazy things we are seeing now. So if we can do a music video, right, that would show fictitious persons doing what we want them to do. So that means we can have music artists, right, that become real, right, in everybody's mind, but they are all built by AI. So I'm saying AI is still growing. So some of these things are not yet perfected, but I'm saying where it people might enjoy listening to AI music more and playing with AI music than even the one produced by normal artists. And the reason for that is this. As a producer, it will be faster for me to use AI to produce my music end to end. So I come up to my system today and I just say, I just want to produce the music and I want it to the market. I want it to hit the market today, right? I want it to hit the market today. So from songwriting to the music production, down to the distribution, to the marketing, to the shooting of the in quote now, it's not even shooting now. I'll use AI to create a music video, and it gets into the market. I'll put it to one of these platforms. So you discover that within a day, right? As a producer, I can produce a number of music videos, full-fledged music, right? So at the end of the day, you discover that if creatives are not careful of increasing their expertise and value, the question will be, what can they do that the AI cannot do? So those are the interesting events that I'm opening to see or expecting to see. And then maybe, in fact, before the end of this year, I'm sure that we'll be able to see music production now. Producers will be more than music artists because everybody will be able to get their hands on an end-to-end production of music and will be able to get some money for themselves.
You mentioned something that took my interest, and I want to actually throw that to you. Like, do you think that the place of AI will take away the place of originally made music by the artist? What do you think about that?
I think number one, anywhere AI enters, it's going to face out the entry level professionals, right? So what will happen at the end of the day is if you are not um, well in tuned and you've not built yourself, your skill has not been fine tuned properly, you will not be able to compete with AI because now artists will be competing with AI, right? I can decide to write a music and pattern it according to a particular artist. I can tell the AI, write this song like you are. I can give it a persona, right? So there's really nothing AI cannot do. Do I believe that it's going to phase out music or music artists completely? No. But what I think is going to threaten and creative generally, and it's going to increase the standard. So you have to actually have something else you are bringing to the table in order to be able to compete with AI because at the end of the day, how do people know whether this music was done by AI or not? Right? In fact, most of music we listen to, is just only one person that we see on the stage. Whereas in the production of that music, there are a lot of people that are in the background. But we don't care about the number of people in the background of music production. What we care is the face that is in front. Right? So if that be the case, it simply means that AI can do all the job down there at the back end and we just put a face. I can decide that, okay, I want to put my face so at the end of the day, the consumers won't really be able to decipher between whether it was an AI music. So at the end of the day, if it's now an AI persona that is placed in front, it doesn't make any difference so far we're enjoying the music. And come to think of it, what we are thinking about in this generation is just like vibes. One thing, give me the vibe. So if AI can give us that feeling, right, and that experience, I think everybody will just go AI, right? But will it face it out completely? No. Some people have made that name, and naturally, people will still want to relate. Some people that can get funny when they hear that this AI just affects their feeling and they want to relate with people. But apart from that, I think AI is going to eat the market and going to affect a lot of people.
That was clear. That was clear. All right, but I personally still think that AI cannot, phase out the live music industry because I mean, AI is not coming to stand in front of me and perform. What do you think about that too?
I've mentioned it. So you don't. For you now, you can create a total music from end to end with AI and come off stage and do a live play. Perform on behalf of it. Anybody can do that. You can just bring out someone to come and do that. So at the end of the day, who is doing who or what is doing what? Is AI that is still doing the job. So it's going to make music production faster. It now depends on where you want to put.
Thank you for that. All right, so how can emerging artists, African artists, and producers collaborate more effectively with developers like you to build sustainable tech-driven careers? And I think that production, most times now, producers have particular issues. I personally have been in close contact with producers and artists, and then I'm seeing, for instance, let me make this practical. So I am with a producer, and then he's trying to make use of FL Studio, and then there are these features. He's like, I wish I had this feature, blah blah blah. It makes my work easier, or I wish this was automated. Or there are sometimes like even you yourself, you're like, if there was this particular software, or if there
Mhm.
was this feature rather, this would make production easier and things like that. So how can we bring them together so that we can have that synergy, that collaboration?
Yeah, I think that's very clear. You started with something. You were saying that I'm not sure that was how you said it, but that was what I had was you saying was that music companies might end up becoming tech companies, and that is a reality, right? Companies generally are becoming tech companies, so it becomes of every organization to begin to think tech how tech would. So you see a music record label having software engineers as part of their team, right? And that is one of the ways by which collaboration can happen. Let music artists begin to befriend and see how software engineering can be part of the system, even from initiation, right? because you want to leverage on, for example, imagine a record label having maybe a prompt engineer, right? A very skilled prompt engineer on their team, right? That was going to help them with the social marketing, the music production, everything. So you discover that one of the ways I think collaboration can happen is by which when music companies begin to see themselves as tech companies. And by so doing, they have to bring the software engineer from initiation, not when they are done with music, from initiation. And also, it will require that software engineers are music inclined. They are in the music industry. They are not just listeners of music. They know how the music business runs because there's music and the music business. So they are in tune with and when we have software engineers that are well versed in the music industry and the music business, they are able to provide innovations, right? So you discover that some, like Marvin Records now can just be a company that is producing software because probably, like you mentioned, from their own workflow, they discover that there's a particular module of their work that needs some automation or some help. And they brought in a software engineer, and software engineer was able to do that. They can make that, produce that service for everybody and make some money out of it. So you discover that music companies can end up becoming tech companies that are producing musical products. So they are different, but for now, I think I have that on board.
All right, thank you so much, sir. That was really clear. So I want to say something. With the way you've portrayed tech now, a regular person will just think that this thing is going to chase me out of the market as a creative. And this brings us to that question. You said earlier that when tech comes in, it faces out entry level people, professionals in quotes. So I guess your first advice would be that, okay, as a creative or as an artist, when you are trying to leverage tech, you should first improve your skill set so that you are not just an entry level, that your tasks can be automated and, offsetted to AI, if there's a word like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are there other advice that you have for creatives better understand leverage tech without losing their artistic edge? Because now, when we're saying this, it makes it feel like what will stand out in the end will be the artistic, sagesse, of the artist. I don't know. Just give us a word or two as regards that.
Yeah. So your ability to use AI, your knowledge, your ability to do your research and know the latest trends, right?
Mhm.
For example, latest tools, right? It's very, very important as a creative. So one of it can be maybe do take one or two courses on prompt engineering, right? Because with proper prompting and good model, right, you can create your graphics for your movie cover or whatever, or music cover, sorry, right? So you don't need to bring in a graphics designer. So you discover that for creatives to get into tech, if they are not just getting into tech, we are now competing with the tech itself or tech engineers, right? And that has been something that has been coming up because I remember those times when we went to school to study computer science and you get to the market and you discover that someone that studied Yoruba, that studied history or whatever, or accounting is competing for a job, right? That has to do with computer science with you because the person after school, the person took a crash course in programming and this and that. And not just that, the person is as good as you are, if not even better, right? So if that be the case, you discover that it's possible that creatives now empower themselves, right? That even at the very initial stage, they're able to create their music, right? And they don't need professional. So that, like you mentioned, that means by the time they are bringing in any professional, by the time they are bringing a graphics engineer on board, it's because they need some special touch that they couldn't get from AI. So I
Yeah.
believe that one AI is a leverage for any creative to latch on. Don't learn prompt engineering and not just that, keep yourselves in the loop of new technology. Like VO3 now is one of the latest technologies that is used for music videos. And there are many models that are useful for that. Get yourself on it, try your hands on it. It does not opt, right? And you discover that before you know it, you are not just a creative, you are not a tech creative, or you are a creative tech.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. I have one more question before we call it a day. So this is a practical question. So if you had full control to like design the next breakthrough music tech platform for Africa, what would it
Yeah.
look like? And who would it serve first?
I think I mentioned it here. It's going to be an end-to-end software that will take anybody at the click of a button or at just a slight few lines of text will be able to produce music down to the song, to the beat, to the album cover, to broadcasting it on all the streams. So all you just need to do, just at the click of button after a few lines of text, just sit down there and the AI agents, based on many other things, will be able to bring you, uh, maybe you probably just add your account number, right? Or maybe whatever account number. So all you just need to do is just at the click of the button and wait for some days and you discover that there's music that is going on. Everybody's crazy about it. And you also are probably just listening to the music for the first time and everybody's getting crazy about your music and you're just earning some dollars. So that end to end product that you don't need to go out to see if that software will be able to case out, at least, if not everybody, the entry level guy, that if you're now bringing in anybody in as the song artist now or whatever you are now, you are bringing people that are already in the market are looking for you to say, come, let us sign you, because already you've made a name. You've been able to break that inertia because I think that is a problem for anybody that wants to get in. Everybody wants to get in and they want to go tomorrow. So that software can make it happen, right? Get in now and happen tomorrow, right? Because number one, there's this constraint of the finances because you need someone to bring the team together, right? So you don't need the team any longer. You need some funds to get some paparazzi going, and a lot of gear. You don't need all that. And don't worry, the software is going to cover everything. All you just need to do is just go to YouTube and you see your video live, right? And of course, with many other things added to it. So that's what I'm thinking.
So basically, I'm taking it that you are saying it's going to be designed for upcoming artists in quotes, that so that it can be easy for them to break into the matrix, basically.
Yes. And the reason for that is if there's no artist, actually, every other professional working at the back end might be useless. They really don't have anything to do. So I think the music artist and now, so what will happen is everybody can become a music artist, right? Everybody can become a music. That's what will happen at the end of it.
Don't you think that we have a saturation of music artists presently? Because I mean, everywhere I turn to now, I'm seeing, oh, this guy sings, and I feel like this is all because technology has made it accessible to everybody. So I don't know.
The question is, the only person that cannot sing is somebody probably that has a bad voice. And even with the kind of music we are seeing now, you discover there's some music that guys don't even sing. They don't get to sing; they just talk. So tell me, so who can't sing? Who can't sing? Everybody can sing, and we are not complaining. The more the merrier, right? So at the end of the day, if everybody can sing, right, the question will now be: do I really want to do this for a living? So, and many times you discover that because of the situation we have in Africa, when you have tasted some level of poverty, right, some talent inside of you that are not even there will come out, right? So you discover that many times people are coming into music not because they have depth passion for music, but they are in it just to blow, right? So why not? We give them that. So you have some stuff to offer and you think you can blow. Why not? You give you the platform and you're able to blow. However, those that have passion for it will also be able to make use of this tech and, of course, produce something better, far better, with less upon.
But this question just pops now. I didn't prepare this before, but it just popped in my head right now. And you know, like you mentioned, Africa is plagued with poverty to a very large extent. We can tell that a lot of people are going through financial downtimes, and that explains the reasons we have people always in a quest for something that works. This is what explains Ponzi schemes, which I mean, tech assists these things to a very large extent, right? So I'm looking at it.
Not tech, it's bad guys. Bad guys have used.
I'm not saying tech as an engineer. I'm saying
I understand.
It has also worked as a tool because I mean tech
yes, true.
So what I'm trying to say now is, don't you think that the music industry is about to witness an explosion economically? But there's this thing we say, the diminishing law of diminishing returns. By the time everything explodes, everybody gets it. then it now brings us back to the scratch. And then it's just like when everybody has access to resources, and then now we are starting from scratch again. This explains, when tech first came in and some tools came in to assist upcoming artists, everybody became an upcoming artist. And that's what explains why we are having this issue we're currently having today, that okay, now some people have decided that we are progressing to AI, that using AI now makes us ahead of the regular person. Do you think that there is going to be something like that? There is going to be an advancement again,
Of course,
to keep some people at disadvantage?
of course. If you look at innovation is natural and change is natural, right? Everybody's always looking for something new, right? And in the course of that, and especially in the tech world, while you produce something, you generated an idea and you produced it. While that idea or that tech or that product is running, you're already generating another. Do you understand? So you discover that as long as man lives, right, there's going to be improvement, there's going to be change, there's going to be innovation, right? What the innovation will now be next, I don't know, right? But I know that, of course, we are seeing AI now, we are being mesmerized by it. At the end of the day, everybody will be AI, tech, enthusiasts or professionals. Something else will come up that everybody has to upgrade.
To cut you there, before some maybe 2-3 years back, you did not have to be a content creator. But right now,
No.
whether you are in the financial sector, you are in the music industry,
you don't have to be anything. Just the fact that you are just sleeping in your house is a big content.
Exactly. So it looks like this session was really exciting. I learned a lot of things. It shows us now that software development is the way. So we are so excited to have you. Thank you so much for this session.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
I believe that everyone that is going to be watching this or that has watched this is also learning a lot. So thank you so much for giving us your time and your resources. I don't know if you have parting words for us before we end.
Well, I just want to thank you for this opportunity, and I want to say, please let's just continue to innovate. Let's continue to innovate. Let's continue. Don't get tired. I used to say that if your idea is stolen, don't worry. There's still much more idea that is nonsense. So please let's just keep innovating. And like you said, where we are going, we don't know, but we are sure that we'll keep moving.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. You can follow us across all social media platforms. Crowd Africa on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. And you can interact with us. Send us a DM, send us a message. If you have questions, we'll reach out to you. And if you want to enroll in our academy as well, feel free to send us a message via social media platforms. Thanks for joining us. See you next time. See you again.